This week, the HPT is back to the Sunshine State at the Daytona Beach Kennel Club and Poker Room in Daytona Beach, Florida. Players from all over Florida and beyond swarmed the poker room this weekend and generated a prize pool worth over $500,000. After 2 days of poker, the over 350 players that started are now down to our final 6. Last year's champion from this event is back at the final table to defend his title. But to do that, he'll have to overcome a young pro who starts the night with over half of the chips in play. Over $138,000 awaits one of these 6 talented players.
They come from all walks of life, each with a story to tell. All they need is a chip and a chair. It's an open casting call for those who love the game. This ain't your weekend home game. This is the HPT.
Sit right down, put on your poker face. You with the big dogs now. Better bring your best game. Talk trash all you want. To me, it's all the same. You won't leave with much when you come in second place. I'm the one with the stack showing 7 to the jack. Gon' cry to your mama cause I'm sending you back. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. Last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand.
Hello and welcome to the HPT, now available in over 100 million households in the U.S. This week, we welcome you to Daytona Beach Kennel Club and Poker Room for the exciting HPT event here in Daytona Beach. I'm Chris Hansen, and the man to my left actually has got a sore shoulder from petting way too many dogs this weekend.
They are cute and cuddly. Those greyhounds, they are very friendly dogs. Chris, we are in for a doozy this week. Over 350 players began this main event, and now the final 6 are getting ready to sit down at our TV final table. Among them is Nick Schwarman, our champion from this event last time we were here. He enjoyed most of the chip lead yesterday as we played down to this final 6, but one huge swing pot sent most of Nick's chips to Jeremy Joseph, who now starts this final table with over half the chips in play.
Jeremy is a young pro who might be the most aggressive player I have ever seen on the HPT. He's not afraid to mix it up. He's not afraid to gamble. His style is tough to play against, and right now the momentum and the chips are with him.
Nick starts this final table as one of the short stacks, and the other 4 players are all bunched up together in their stack sizes. Even though Jeremy has over half the chips, this is still anybody's championship to win. I'll be looking for Jeremy to drive the action and set a fast pace. If one of these players can go on a heater, Jeremy's unpredictable style could change the entire dynamic of this table.
Well, we'll have to see if Nick can get some of those chips back from Jeremy and maybe become a 2-time HPT champion, or is Jeremy simply just going to roll over this table with that large chip lead? We'll have to wait and see. Let's meet some of the players at our final table and then get right to the action.
My name is Jeremy Joseph. I'm from Buffalo, New York. I live in Miami, Florida, and I play poker for a living.
My name is Ann Shari. I go by Amato. I'm from Sarasota, Florida.
My name's Nick Schwarman. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and I play poker professionally.
The big hand that propelled me into the chip lead was when we were at the final table, but before the televised event. Nick raised with 2 queens. I re-raised with 2 kings. Another opponent moved all in with ace-7 suited. Nick called. I moved all in. Nick called. And my kings held, so it was pretty lucky.
My husband and I were both chess players, and we were out in Vegas at a big chess tournament. And while we were there, the main event was going on at the Rio. So we happened to go over there and see what the action was. And while we were there, we saw all the enthusiasm. So when we came back home, we looked it up and started studying the game and playing the game on a very low-level area and fell in love with it and gave up chess.
Yeah, I'm going to stay aggressive. You know, it's always nice to make a little extra money, hit the pay jumps, but at the same time, I'm playing for first place, so I'm going to come out and try to get a nice double up early, which will allow me some play. Right now, I'm only sitting with like 12 big blinds, so it's pretty much shove or fold for me. I don't really have an option to raise and then fold, so hopefully I'll get into a good spot, get it all in, get a nice double up, which will give me a little more room to play.
Here is the prize money for tonight. $138,000 will be headed to our newest HPT winner.
And the first person knocked off this final table still goes home with a little over $27,000. Pretty good payday for a $1,500 tournament.
And Jeremy with a massive chip lead. There are 11 million chips in play, and half of them are sitting in front of Jeremy Joseph.
These players have a lot of catching up to do. Blinds at this final table starting off at $25,000 and $50,000 with a $5,000 chip ante. And the action will start on the 3 seed here with Sherry.
Sherry from Sarasota, Florida, is retired, has her husband watching in the audience today.
Her husband also played in this event, had a nice deep run. You can see Sherry using a chess piece as her card protector. She played chess competitively for a long time.
Wow.
And that brought her into the game of poker as well. You have to be pretty smart to play chess.
Action is now folded around to Nick. Nick won this event last year in Daytona, and he is going to raise it up with pocket jacks, makes it $100,000. Fletcher folds over to Jeremy.
Nick actually had the chip lead for a long time in day 2 of this event, and just as we got down to the final 6, he locked horns with this man, Jeremy, and that's why Jeremy's holding 53% of the chips in play right now.
Jeremy re-raises to $1.295 million, and Nick calls. And so our first hand could see our first elimination here at this final table with Nick all in versus Jeremy.
Nick Schwarman hoping to repeat as champion at this event and become the king of the HPT in Florida.
And here we go, our first flop of the night is Jack 9 Jack. Clubs, please, no waiting.
I think Nick's got a few fans in the audience today.
There is no doubt about it that Nick is the favorite here inside the poker room at Daytona Beach Kennel Club and Poker Room. And very first hand, he doubles up.
Just what the doctor ordered for Nick Schwarman. And for Jeremy, really, just a flesh wound. I mean, he's still got a mountain of chips in front of him, still a dominant chip leader. Action moving on now.
Starting with Andy. Andy is from Rockledge, Florida. And he will fold. Back to Sherry. 6-10 of clubs, into the muck. And this is Trevor. Trevor Renner. And he folds. Nick will fold. This is our first look at Fletcher. This is Fletcher McKinney from Eagle Lake, Florida. 54-year-old insurance salesman.
Fletcher's going to make it $250,000 to go. Daytona Beach Kennel Club and Poker Room. A big fan of the placards to go along with their chips.
Very popular all over Europe and here in Daytona Beach. Jeremy raises enough to put Fletcher all in, and Fletcher makes the call.
2 hands into this final table, we have 2 hands all in involving Jeremy.
Here we go. The flop is deuce, queen, king. Pocket 8 still ahead. And here we go. The turn is another deuce. And so Fletcher is in the lead with his pocket 8s. Jeremy's looking for an ace on the river to eliminate our first player at this final table.
Let's go ahead and see the river card, please, Judy.
And the river is a 6. And so, Fred, you called the 2 hands in a row, 2 double-ups via our chip leader. Fred, if we keep doing this, his chip lead is not going to last very long. He keeps doubling people up.
It's probably not the start Jeremy was hoping for at this final table, doubling up 2 players in as many hands.
You know me, I love playing golf, and when things don't go good on the very first tee box, yeah, can we get a mulligan, please?
Unfortunately, Florida Gaming would have a problem with that.
I'm thinking they would. Andy folds over to Sherry, and she will fold. And now on to Trevor. He folds quickly to Nick. Nick's 24 years old. He is a professional poker player. And he's got ace queen of clubs and raises it to $100,000. Action back to Jeremy. Ace 8. Will Jeremy finally sit out a hand?
What you playing?
Jeremy once again getting a chip inventory from an opponent.
Just under 1.1.
Well, Nick has told Jeremy he's playing just under 1.1 million right now.
And an all-in from Jeremy. He's had 3 ace rags in a row, and he has pushed all of them all in. And look at this. Jeremy's all in. Nick makes the call. And Nick is in great shape here. Ace-8 versus ace-queen to double up again.
3 hands, 3 all-ins. All of them involve Jeremy. Let's see if he can win this one.
Here comes the flop. It's Jack-8-4. Jeremy does pair the 8s.
Jeremy pulls way ahead in the hand. Now Nick is hoping to find a queen or running clubs.
We got eliminations. I like Nick.
And the turn is a club.
Now we have a sweat going into the river. It's a queen or a club, and Jeremy will double up Nick again, or Nick will be on the rail.
Here we go. The river is an ace. That gives Jeremy 2 pair. And I guess Jeremy giveth, and then he just taketh right back.
Well, Jeremy's obviously got some gamble in him. We've seen him go all in with people 3 hands in a row. This one worked out, and unfortunately for Nick, his day is over.
Yeah, I started off with an early double up, which is exactly what I wanted. I had pocket jacks. I got it in against his, I believe, ace-3. And right away on the flop, I just flopped quads just like that. So perfect position, got some chips accumulated together, and got all in again. Another chance to get even more chips, ace-queen to ace-8, and he spiked an 8, and I wasn't able to catch a queen, so I'm out.
More poker when we come back on the HPT. Welcome back to the HPT with Fred Bevel. I'm Chris Hansen. I don't know if we can keep up the pace that we have set so far here tonight on the HPT. Let's meet the rest of the players at our final table.
My name is Trevor Renner, and I'm in medical recruiting, and I live just outside of Cleveland, Ohio.
Andy Denick. I'm from Rockledge, Florida, and I do outside sales for a roofing supply company.
I'm Fletcher McKinney, Eagle Lake, Florida, and I'm a life insurance agent.
I wanted to start following HPT events as I've played in several $200 and $500 events, and I feel that it's a nice mixture of pro and recreational players, and I just feel like it's the next good level to start playing in and following. When I finally fell asleep and got up this morning, it was hard to go to sleep last night. It was just very exciting to be in my first televised final table at the HPT.
It's been a really good solid field. I mean, there's been a lot of real tough opponents out there. Started off running real well. Got put at a final table with a couple of real big guys to my left, and it was pretty tough. But I just tried to grind through that until I got to a different table, and I kind of held in there, picked up a couple of really big hands where I needed to, and helped me get to where I'm at now. Just a lot of patience.
Last year, I bubbled the TV final table and came in 7th. Thought I'd give it a shot this year and see if I could at least come in 6th. I'm really happy to be here, because at least we're in the last 6, and hopefully, with a little luck on my side, maybe I can knock it off this year.
Well, now that we've met the rest of our final table, let's take a look at the updated chip count. Trevor is the short stack with just 705,000. But Jeremy, how about that? 3 hands to get started at this final table. He's involved in all of them. They're all in pots.
Yeah, and you can look at the chip swing. He's only down 65,000 from the last time we checked his stack.
All right, Sherry's going to be first act. She will fold over to Trevor. Trevor's from Ohio, and he is all in. The short stack has King 7 of clubs. Action over to Fletcher. He's got ace 10 of clubs.
Fletcher getting an inventory on Trevor's stack. It's not going to be a whole lot.
This is Trevor's first ever HPT event.
650, 680, 700,000.
700.
And it looks like Fletcher is going to be making the call here.
680,
Call.
610.
He does.
700,000 is the all-in.
Fletcher cashed for 18,000 last time we were here in Daytona Beach. What? Jeremy folded? Hold on.
Everybody folds. Now we're back to the 2 men involved in the hand, Fletcher and Trevor. They're going to turn over the cards, and Trevor's going to see he's live, but he's behind.
HPT in Daytona Beach Kennel Club and Poker Room. Subtitle, All In Fest. 4 hands, 4 players, all in all of them.
And all of these guys are pretty deep, too, which is kind of surprising to see this much action here, but I'm loving it.
Here we go. The flop is is 10-4-3.
Fletcher pairs the 10, which eliminates the 7 for Trevor. Now he'll be just hoping for a king.
And the turn is an ace.
And that's going to do it for Trevor. He is drawing dead.
And just like that, we are down to 4 players at this main event final table.
I feel that I played very well this tournament and was happy with it, and I'm taking some notes, and we'll go home and learn from there.
Blinds are now up. They're going to 30,000, 60,000 with a 10,000 chip ante. Action is going to start on Jeremy.
Jeremy Joseph from Hollandale Beach, Florida.
He makes it 120,000 to go with a suited Jack 8. And here is our first hand with Andy. He's got wired 7s. Andy Denick, originally from Rockledge, Florida. He's in outside sales.
As opposed to inside sales.
Now, there's a thing. Outside sales means he goes out and he pounds the pavement to make some money, and inside means you
just sell to the people inside?
Yeah, you just do it inside.
I saw you grasping for something there. I only say that because I'm sure you did plenty of inside and outside sales, as well as top and bottom sales in your career.
I've done it all.
All right, well, 3 players are going to see this flop together. Here we go. It is 7 King 4. With Fletcher, Jeremy, and Andy in the hand. Fletcher's first to act.
And Andy's got a stranglehold in this hand. He's flopped a set of 7s.
But Jeremy is the one who is betting. He bets 175,000.
And that 175,000 chip bet from Jeremy is exactly what Andy wanted to see. No need to get crazy here. He is just going to flat call.
Fletcher will fold. And it's now heads up with Jeremy and Andy. And here comes the turn. It is a queen.
Let's see if that slows Jeremy down.
Are you kidding me? The only thing that's going to slow Jeremy down to this final table is a straitjacket and maybe one of those masks they use in Silence of the Lambs. He is betting 225,000.
225K is the bet by the 1C2.
Back to Andy. Now, Fred, are you ready to pounce here and make a raise, or are you going to continue to flat?
I think I just flat. But what do I know?
Andy's all in.
And Jeremy is going to lay it down. I'd have liked to seen him milk him for one more street there.
Sounds like Andy's got himself quite the cheering section here as well in Daytona Beach. More poker when we come back to the Sunshine State on the HPT. Welcome back to the HPT at Daytona Beach Kennel Club and Poker Room in the shadow, quite literally, of the Daytona Speedway here in Daytona Beach.
The updated chip count has Jeremy on top by a lot. Over 5 million chips, 46% of the chips in play. He's been on a downward spiral since we started this final table. He originally started with 53% of the chips in play, now down to 46%, but obviously no reason to panic. Action on this hand will start with Sherry. She's got a suited ace-4.
Sherry was born in Maryland, now lives here in Florida.
125.
And she is going to raise it up to 125,000 with suited ace-4.
Raise to 125.
Over to Fletcher. He's got king 3.
Fletcher's from Eagle Lake, Florida. Grew up right here in the state of Florida.
Fletcher, Jeremy folds over.
Andy now with ace-10.
Andy probably not going anywhere out of the big blind.
Andy's total career winnings are about 80,000, which is about $79,252.57 more than me.
And he announces a raise to 260,000.
To 260.
135.
Re-raise to 260.
All right, so Sherry's going to call the 135,000 chip raise.
All right, with that, 2 players.
All right, so heads up with Andy and Sherry to the flop. And the flop is deuce 8-4. So Sherry pairs her fours. Action is on Andy.
Sherry also has some accomplishments in poker. She's got about 70,000 in career winnings.
Andy bets 225,000. Back to Sherry.
Sherry is going to make the call. Sherry has the best hand, just calling again. She did this earlier against Jeremy. A lot of players would raise here with just a small pair.
Turn card, please.
The turn is a 3.
Well, now both these players pick up a wheel draw.
Action's on Andy in the 2-seat. He's going to slow down and check, and now Sherry goes all in.
By Sherry.
And Andy with just ace high, probably not going to call here. Sherry played this hand almost identical to the way she played the hand earlier against Jeremy, where she just flat called both streets and then went all in on the turn.
And Andy folds, and so Sherry will win the pot. More chips coming over to join her chess piece. All right, we will start with Jeremy Joseph. 7-8 offsuit. $250,000 in career winnings for Jeremy. He has one cash on the HPT. That was at Turning Stone Casino in Verona, New York. And he makes it $120,000 with 8-7 offsuit. Andy folds. Over to Sherry.
She's going to lay it down over to Trevor. He's got 4-5 suited. He says, why not? He's going to make the call.
What did he do? Call. Call by Fletcher.
What time do the dog races start?
Oh, boy, not too long from now. Those are fun, aren't they? I have lost.
I suddenly just had a very bad itch to go bet on some dogs here at Daytona Beach. And here's the flop. It's Queen 8-6.
Well, Fletcher has flopped a gut shot straight draw. Jeremy has middle pair with a pair of eights.
Fletcher checked over to Jeremy.
150 is
And Jeremy doesn't know check. I don't know if that's in his poker vocabulary. He bets 150,000. Fletcher calls.
Go ahead and see the turn card, please.
And the turn is an ace of clubs.
It doesn't get any easier for Fletcher here.
400.
He is going to bet it, though. Makes it 400,000.
400,000.
Turning the ace into a bluff card.
And that bet is going to be enough to scare Jeremy out of this pot.
Great play by Fletcher.
More poker from the Sunshine State when we come back on the HPT. Thanks for coming back to the HPT, where it's time for our pro tip of the week. Something tells me that Jeremy might have already seen the pro tip of the week, because tonight it's all about Phil Hellmuth and how to be aggressive.
Come on, man. You want to win Hold'em tournaments? You have to be aggressive. Not all the time, not in the early stages, but you have to pick up free chips through aggression. You just sometimes, when you call a raise with 8-9 and it comes ace, king, 4, you just have to lead right out. You have to do that stuff because you have to pick up some free chips, whether it's coming over the top of people, in other words, re-raising them, or whether you're the first raiser in trying to pick up the blinds and antes. Aggression, picking up kindling along the way, that's what builds houses. Keep picking up a little wood here, a little wood there, boom, the next thing you know you have a house. Next thing you know you have a bracelet. Next thing you know you own 4 or 5 houses. You have to be aggressive. The difference between winning in Hold'em tournaments and not winning in Hold'em tournaments is picking up free chips through aggression. Now the kids, some of them are take it too far. I don't like that. But I think that there are times where I might raise 15 in a row. You have to be able to take advantage of a table if it's playing too patiently.
There's no doubt about it. Phil's the guy that you want to talk to when it comes to, I'm going to set the pace at this table. It will not be you, it will be me.
He is the man. 13 World Series bracelets. Jeremy is our chip leader, has been from go. He's still sitting with half the chips in play, a little over $5 million in his stack. Everybody else, not even quite at $2 million yet.
Jerry Amato has pocket tens.
On goes the Queen card protector.
Oh, look at you getting all fancy now that you know what it is.
I Googled it. Queen can move anywhere on the board because she's the queen.
Wow.
Whereas the king only moves one space at a time. What's up with that?
Small steps, my man.
Sexism in chess.
Action is folded around to Andy in the big blind. And he will call with ace-8 offsuit.
Andrew makes the call. 2 players. He's 2 and 3.
And here's the flop. It is 4-8-9.
Good news for Andy is he's paired his 8s. Better news for Sherry is Andy's paired his 8.
And Andy is going to be betting. He's grabbing for chips, and it's 125,000.
125.
Over to Sherry with the overpair to the board.
I'm all in.
And Sherry once again puts her foot on the gas pedal and goes all in. It's just under 1.6 million for Andy to make this call.
About $1 million for him.
And Andy will fold. And Sherry has the all-in move perfected at this final table. All in multiple times and no one calling her.
I couldn't let you hit anything. Yeah.
All right, blinds are going up. We are now at 40 and 80,000 with a 10K ante. Want to say a big thanks to Dom Nero and his staff here in Daytona Beach. First class as always.
And this is Jeremy Joseph with wired deuces.
Here we go. Jeremy's getting back in the action. I knew he couldn't stay away forever.
Jeremy getting some chips ready here. I doubt he's going to call. Check and call. 2 things I'm pretty sure are not in Jeremy's poker vocabulary.
Jeremy's a professional poker player originally from Buffalo, New York.
200.
160.
Jeremy's going to make it 160,000 to go. Andy with the best drawing hand in poker, 7 deuce offsuit.
160.
Quickly into the muff.
That says so much about you. Sherry folds over to Fletcher with Queen 9 of hearts. And it looks like he's going to call Jeremy's raise. Just 80,000 more.
The min raise is the new hula hoop of poker,
It
isn't
really
it?
is.
That's
Everyone loves that min raise. They just love it, love it, love it.
2 players. Let's go ahead and see that flop, please.
And here is the flop. It's 8 ace jack. It's all hearts. Awesome flop for Fletcher.
Fletcher's flopped the flush, and he's got a straight flush draw. Jeremy with just wired deuces here.
Fletcher checks and, hi, my name is Jeremy, and I'm a continuation better. Hi, Jeremy. Pocket deuces bets 200,000.
200.
And Fletcher calls 200K.
And I think that's all the information Jeremy needed to get. He is probably going to shut down for the rest of this hand.
Yeah, there's something cooking over there. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but the pot is on the stove for sure. The turn is a 9. Fletcher first again. He checks. Jeremy hits the brakes. And now to the river.
River card now.
And the river's another ace. Go ahead, Fletcher.
Fletcher's not checking now. He'll bet. I didn't know he was going to bet that much. I thought he'd do a little more value there, but he is all in.
He's betting that Jeremy's got an ace. Bad thing is Jeremy has no ace.
Just pocket deuces for Jeremy, and like I said a minute ago, once he got called that 200,000 on the flop, he was done with this hand.
Even in this case, I don't know if Jeremy, if he has an ace, if he's even making the call here. But he is counting out the placards. Could he be considering a call?
I really don't think he is. I think he's just kind of Hollywooding here. No need to ship this big of a pot to the player directly on your right. He's flat called you every street, and he goes all in on the river. You can't think deuces are good here. And you can't bluff by calling.
He does try to make the hero call, and Jeremy's going to see that Fletcher had him from the flop.
I'm in awe. I'm in awe. I don't know why Jeremy made that call on the river. I really don't.
One person who doesn't mind, that's definitely Fletcher. Welcome back to sunny Daytona Beach, Florida. This week's stop on the HPT at Daytona Beach Kennel Club and Poker Room. So we started this final table. Jeremy had over 50% of the chips in play. He has slid a little bit, including that last hand with a questionable call on the river. He's now down to 43% of the chips in play, and Fletcher, the recipient of that call, Fred, has made a big jump up.
The short stack right now is Andy with only 16 big blinds.
In action this hand, we'll start with Fletcher. And we'll fold over to Jeremy. 7 deuce offsuit. Why not? I just called a million chips with deuces on the river. I'm going to get involved.
He is going to raise it up, makes it 160,000 to go.
Now he does have the 2 short stacks to his left. That is one advantage. So he can punish their blinds fairly easily.
Andy on the decision now. And it doesn't look like he's going to go anywhere.
300.
He is going to re-raise it with King 3 here. Makes it 300,000 to go. And look at this.
Ace 10 for Sherry.
Call.
And Sherry's going to get involved. She calls. Jeremy folds. And so it'll be heads up now with Sherry and Andy. They're probably both pretty surprised that Jeremy folded so quickly.
Well, these players know Jeremy's style. He's going to drive the action, but if you stand up to him, he might back down. And if he doesn't, look out.
All right,
All right, here we go. Let's see the next flop. It's Jack 5-8.
No help for either of these players. Sherry's ahead with ace high.
325, the bet from Andrew Denick. 34 years old from Rockledge, Florida. And Sherry will make the call.
Andy doesn't look too pleased about that call. He wanted to just scoot the pot right here. Sherry probably just floating him here to see what Andy does on the turn.
I have a feeling about the turn. Andy will check and Sherry will go all in. Here's the turn. It's a king.
Well, Andy now pulls ahead. He's paired that king, giving him top pair as well. So now it's Andy's turn to go all in.
Andy is playing Sherry's move.
I think you're right, though, Chris. If that turns a blank, it probably does play out the way you said it. But unfortunately for Sherry, she's probably going to have to let this go. Unless she wants to call 605,000 on a gut shot straight draw on one overcard.
And Sherry is going to fold. I don't know, Fred. I think that if Andy plays it out the way that the past couple of hands with Sherry has been played, if he checks that turn, she might make a big bet on the turn. But then again, with King 3, you're not all that happy about your kicker.
No, I think Andy played this hand just fine. The short stack, not so short anymore. That's a pot he really, really needed to win. Moving on now, blind still at 40 and 80,000 with a 10,000 chip ante.
Andy gets us started with 9-10 of spades.
Call.
He's going to limp in. Haven't seen much of that at this final table. And ace 5 for Sherry.
And Sherry's going to put them all in the middle with ace 5. Action now on Fletcher. He's going to fold over to Jeremy.
Oh boy. King Jack of clubs for the chip leader.
All in.
And Jeremy's going to go all in to isolate. That gets rid of Andy, and now it'll be Sherry and Jeremy heads up. Sherry's going to the flop ahead, but Jeremy certainly 2 live cards and the suits.
King Jack of clubs. She has 5.
Ace of diamonds, 5 of spades for Sherry.
Everyone has vacated the table except for Jeremy.
She's at risk in the hand, but ahead against Jeremy. Sherry, can we please?
And here we go for Sherry's tournament life. The flop is Jack, 3, deuce, and Jeremy has pulled ahead.
Four ball.
Sherry's got a gut shot straight try. She's hoping to find an ace or a 4 on the Turner River, or it'll be the end of her day.
See a hook?
See the hook.
And here comes the turn. It is a deuce paired in the board. So Sherry now looking for that ace or 4 to continue playing at this final table.
Just a 3 is fine.
And the river is an 8, and that will do it for Sherry Amato.
Sherry played a great game today. I don't know if she liked the call at King Jack from the chip leader, but hey, that's the perk of being the chip leader. You can do those kind of calls. And now Jeremy's got even more chips to add to the mountain of ammunition he has on this table.
I feel very good with my play. I think I played very well at the final table. Jeremy is a very active player. I expected him to call. Went in with the best hand, lost the race. But I feel very good about it. With the money that I won, I'm going to be buying a lot of doggy treats, and we are going to be traveling a lot more with poker.
All right, back to the action as we are halfway now to an HPT championship.
I've got 3, Jeremy.
Okay.
You know, Jeremy's that kind of guy, I have a feeling, with his play at the poker table. He takes some small steps backwards, but when he takes a step forward, it's a big one.
It's a leap, that's for sure. Here he goes again. He's raising it to 160 with Queen 8.
160.
Ace 9 of clubs for Andrew.
160. Jeremy raises to 160. Over to 2 seat now, and Andrew.
$350.
And Andy's going to raise it up to 350,000.
350.
Over to Fletcher. He's got 6-3. That'll be mucked. Back to Jeremy.
5 Fletcher.
And Jeremy continues to just pound away at these players with that chip lead. He's all in.
Back over to Andrew now.
And Andy does not look very happy about that.
No, he does not. Andy would be going to the flop ahead, but basically coin flipping for his tournament life.
I call.
Oh! Whoa! Andy does make the call.
I didn't expect that.
Come on, Andy.
And as of right now, as it stands pre-flop, it is the right call.
Queen 8.
Oh,
wow, great call. Great call, Andy.
Jeremy is like Mike Tyson. It's either the uppercut for the knockout or nothing with him at this final table. I do not want to get into a second round. I want this thing to be over in the first minute. So let's see if Andy can stay alive or if Jeremy is going to step even closer to a championship. The flop is 7-5, Jack with 2 clubs. Great flop from Andy.
That takes outs away from Jeremy. Now a queen or an 8 of clubs doesn't help him a bit.
Here comes the turn. It's a deuce, and that gives Andy the nut flush. And he is doubled up now to just under $4 million in chips. The fireworks are all over the place here in Daytona. We'll try to catch our breath and bring you more poker next on the HPT. Welcome back to the HPT. I'm Chris Hansen. By my side is Fred Bevel. We are at Daytona Beach Kennel Club and Poker Room in Daytona Beach, Florida. Fred, I got to be honest with you, the ocean kind of freaks me out.
It's awfully big water out there. Jeremy is still our chip leader, but not by much, especially when you look at how we started this final table. He had 53% when we started. Now he's down to 41%. Still has the lead, but these players are a lot closer to him, and blinds are moving up, too. They're now 5,100 with a 15K ante.
And here we go. Jeremy Joseph, the 27-year-old Floridian, his first act.
He's got Queen 10 offsuit and the button, and he's going to raise it up. Makes it 200,000 to go.
All 3 of these players from the state of Florida.
Nice to know the championship money will stay here in the Sunshine State. Andy folds. Fletcher looks like he's making the call from the big blind.
Seat 1 and seat 6. All right, Jen, let's go ahead and see the flop, please.
And here comes the flop. It's Queen 4-4. Fletcher first to act.
Jeremy's got the best of this. He's got top pair.
Both players check. So let's see the turn. It's an 8 of clubs. Action's on Fletcher.
Fletcher's still checking. Let's see if Jeremy goes for a little value here.
Jeremy, very aggressive at this final table. Has the chip lead, has not been afraid to use it.
I'll bring him the real.
$250.
Jeremy's going to fire $250,000 on the turn. Fletcher's sitting with just king high. Doesn't seem to be slowing him down. He's going to make the call.
All right, so we'll see a river. Fletcher way behind. River's a deuce.
And Fletcher calling, hoping for a king. It didn't work out. He's going to check the river, and Jeremy's going to bet 700.
Another spade on the river? Yeah, who cares? Paired board? Yeah, who cares? Here comes 700,000 from Jeremy.
Well, unless Fletcher was planning to pull a check raise move on the river, but instead he's just going to call off 700,000 with king high. That shows you what kind of an image Jeremy has at this table.
Absolutely.
But Jeremy's going to turn over the winner, and he is going to scoop a monster.
I had these 4 hearts. No big deal.
Jeremy Joseph has been splashing around all day long. Sometimes it's worked for him. Sometimes it hasn't worked for him. This time it certainly did.
Okay, so the ocean freaks me out, and any poker table I might be sitting at with Jeremy Joseph. That would also freak me out.
Well, Jeremy's confidence got to be sky high right now. Blinds are still 50 and 100,000 with 15,000 chip antes.
Absolutely. And he's first, and he's active, and he's in the pot. Jeremy is raising it up. He makes it 200,000. Jack 7 for Andy. And Andy calls 150,000 over to Fletcher. He will make the call with 10 deuce of diamonds.
You know, we've seen this before on the HBT, and people that play a lot of poker see it all the time as well. When you get a loose player, an action player like Jeremy, it loosens up the whole table.
Yeah, they can't help themselves.
Exactly, and he got Andy and Fletcher in with way less than premium hands.
The flop is 7-3-3.
Well, Andy's flopped the best of it. He's paired the 7 for 2 pair.
Andy checks, Fletcher checks. Back to the original raiser, Jeremy.
And it is no surprise to these two guys that Jeremy's going to be betting.
It's in there.
Can we help you out with it?
240,000 is going to be the bet from Jeremy.
By Jeremy.
I call.
And Andy's going to make the call.
Fletcher folds.
Did you say 250? Because I think these are short.
Are they? I mean, I didn't, but I meant to bet 250. You're right.
Oh, you can see Jeremy meant to go 250, but he just shoved a couple of stacks in there.
So it's 240.
Not quite 20 chip stacks, so the bet's only 240 instead of 250.
Okay. You go less, yeah.
Discount?
And Andy's going to pull some chips back. Okay, everything's good.
The important thing is no one panics. Everyone keep a calm head. And here we go. The turn is another 3. Andy's got a boat now. And he checks. Jeremy will check behind. And the river is a 4.
Well, Andy's got the best of it now.
300.
And he's going to try to get some value on the river. Makes it 300,000. Very small bet considering the pot size. And it looks like Jeremy is going to make the call with just ace high. And he does.
I don't think we have said the term makes the call with whatever high so many times on the HPT. Jeremy's instincts were wrong.
You're welcome.
And Andrew is going to win a pot off of our chip leader.
That's it right there. He hasn't flipped his hand over yet. I assume he's going to slow roll me that ball.
No.
You know, I've asked for these before on the HPT. This time I demand it. I need a seatbelt to hold me in here. The action at this final table has been way too crazy.
Yeah, you remember the kid from the internet a while back? Boom goes the dynamite?
Yeah.
Plenty of dynamite so far here in Daytona Beach. Now, do you think you've got what it takes to sit at our final table? Well, log on to hptpoker.com to find out about our upcoming events that anyone can play in. For James Larson and Fred Bevel, we'll see you next time right here on the HPT.